Misha! Misha Berlioz, can you kindly bring me an aspirin? I have a terrible hangover. I can't get out of bed.
Good morning, Stepan Likadev.
Huh?
Your roommate, Mikhail Berlioz, seems to be, indisposed.
What?
Let's see. 11. I've been waiting exactly 1 hour for you to wake up. You told me to be here at 10, so here I am.
Excuse me. Please tell me, who are you?
What? Have you forgotten my name, too?
Sorry.
Really? I suppose you drank wine on top of the vodka last night? What a way to behave.
Please keep this to yourself.
Yes, of course. Woland, professor of black magic. I arrived in Moscow from abroad yesterday. I called on you and offered my services as a guest artiste at the Variety Theater. You asked me to show up at your flat this morning at 10 to complete the final arrangements.
Can you show me this contract?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Excuse me for a moment. I have to make a phone call.
Yes, of course.
It's Variety 217. Yes. Hello, Rimsky. Yes. It's Stepan. I just wanted to ask you about this fellow, this artiste in my apartment called Woland. Yes. I just want to ask you, is everything about this evening okay? Tickets have already been sold. Yes. Oh, well, yes. Okay. Bye. Yeah.
Hello.
Oi.
You seem slightly astonished, my dear Stepan. But there's really nothing to be surprised about. These are my assistants. Koroviev.
Oh, hello.
Azazello.
Good morning.
My vampiress, Hela.
Charmed.
And my cat, Behemoth. And my assistants need a place to stay, so it seems that there is one too many of us in this apartment. I rather think that one is you.
Yes, that's them. Oh, they've been behaving disgustingly lately.
Getting drunk, carrying on with women, and not doing one stroke of work.
Oh, not that they'd be able to do anything even if they tried, because they're completely incompetent. Pulling the wool over the boss's eyes, that's what they've been doing.
Drives around in a free car.
I cannot understand how he ever came to be a manager of the Variety Theater. He's as much a manager as I am a bishop.
We don't look much like a bishop, Azazello.
That's what I mean.
Would you permit us, Messiah, to kick him out of Moscow?
Yes. Get rid of him.
Shoot! Where am I?
Well, I'll be damned.
I'm not drunk. Something has happened to me. Please tell me. Where am I? What town is this?
Well, Yalta, of course.
Yalta, but that's 900 miles from Moscow.
I was at Matriarch's pod with my friend Mikhail Berlioz, the late dead Mikhail.
Ivan, you'll soon stop crying. It will pass. Everything will be all right. You'll soon forget all about it. Do you hear? You'll soon forget all about it. Do you hear? You'll soon forget all about it. Splendid.
Oh, Ivan. Instead of creating that ridiculous scene at Patriarch's Ponds, wouldn't it have been more intelligent to ask him politely what happened next to Pontius Pilate and that prisoner Hanostri? And how do I look after this? Oh, like a fool. Ivan, the fool.
May I sit down?
But how did you get in here?
Ladies and gentlemen, comrades, citizens of Moscow, welcome to the Variety Theater! Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to see is... Well, I see our audience has increased in number since our little intermission. Half Moscow seems to be here tonight. Do you know, I met a friend of mine the other day on the street, and I asked him, why didn't you come to see our show last night? Half the town was there, and he said to me, I live in the other half. I know. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to see is a very famous artiste from abroad, Maestro Woland, with a session of black magic. Now, we all know, don't we, there's no such thing really, it's all superstition. But our maestro is a master in the art of conjuring. And now, ladies and gentlemen, since none of us can bear the suspense any longer, I give you Maestro Woland. Maestro, step forward. Yes.
Thank you. Well, my dear Koroviev, do you think the people of Moscow are much changed?
I do, Messiah.
Yes, of course, you're right. They are changed considerably. Outwardly, anyway, outwardly. And not just the clothes, but now they've got all these, streetcars, trolleys, what do you call them?
Buses!
Right.
Our traveling artiste from abroad is obviously delighted with Moscow's technological progress, yes.
Did I say I was delighted?
You said nothing of the kind, Messiah.
What is the man talking about?
He's simply telling lies. You hear? You're a liar.
But naturally, I'm not so much concerned with the buses and the phones and such...
Apparatus.
Precisely. Thank you so much for the much more important and interesting question. Have the people of Moscow changed inwardly?
A vital question indeed, Messiah.
Yes, well, my dear Koroviev, that's enough talk from us. The audience is getting bored. No. Show us something simple to begin with, huh?
Yes, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your eyes on this pack of cards, which I will proceed to make disappear. A 1, a 2, a 3. That pack of cards, ladies and gentlemen, is now to be found in the 7th row in Comrade Parchevsky's wallet between a 3-ruble note and, a summons to appear before the court for non-payment of his alimony to his ex-wife.
Oh, my.
My goodness, he's correct. There's a pack of cards in my pocket. Oh, my God, there's money, too. My God, it's real money!
Money? If you've got any more packs of cards like that, I'd like to play with you sometime.
Avec plaisir, madame, but why should you be the only one? Ladies and gentlemen, it's all play, shall we? A 1, a 2, a 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you have just seen is a case of so-called mass hypnosis. It's a purely scientific experiment proving better than anything else that there's nothing supernatural about magic. We should ask the maestro how he did that last experiment. Ladies and gentlemen, you will now see those apparent banknotes vanish as suddenly as they appeared. Yeah.
And that was a case of so-called fiddlesticks. The notes, ladies and gentlemen, are real. Now, this gentleman is beginning to bore me, sticking his nose in where it doesn't belong and ruining our act. What should we do with him? I'm sorry. Cut off his head? What an idea! All right. Behemoth, do your stuff. Eins, zwei, drei. Will you go on talking so much rubbish?
No, I promise I won't. Is there a doctor in the room?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, shall we forgive him?
What is your command, Messiah?
Well, they're people just like any others. Thoughtless, but they show occasional compassion. They're over fond of money, but then they always were. In short, they're very much like their predecessors. Yes, put back his head.
Please don't take my head. Please don't take my head. I'll give you my apartment. I'll give you all my pictures. Only don't take my head.
Right this way, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this evening's show. Goodbye.
I sit down?
But how did you get in here? The grills on the window are locked, aren't they?
Yes, but a month ago I removed this bunch of keys from the nurse, which has given me the freedom of the balcony. It extends along the whole floor so I can call on my neighbors whenever I feel like it.
If you can get out onto the balcony, you can run away, or is it too high to jump?
No, it's not too high to jump. So, here we are.
Here we are.
Yes. So tell me, what's your job?
I'm a poet.
Just my bad luck. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Ivan Bezdomny.
Oh.
What, don't you like my poetry?
No, I don't.
Have you read any of it?
You know, I can't say that I have.
Then how can you say that?
Well, I've read plenty of other poetry. I don't suppose by some miracle that yours is any better. But I'm willing to take it on trust. Is your poetry good?
Stupendous.
Don't write any more.
I promise not to.
So tell me, how did you come to be here?
Because of Pontius Pilate.
What? What an extraordinary coincidence. Do tell me about it, I beg of you.
My head.
Oh,
My
they're
head.
bringing in a new patient.
My
Come here.
head.
Yes.
My head.
Yes.
My head. My head.
It's right here. Right on top of your shoulder.
My head. My head.
Pontius Pilate. Oh, how well I've guessed it. How well I've guessed it all.
So I boxed my friend, Ryukin, in the mouth, and they tied me up in towels and brought me here. Now I'll never catch the professor.
Well, you shouldn't have treated him so carelessly and rudely. Now you're paying for it. You should be thankful you got off comparatively lightly.
But who on earth is he?
You won't get violent, will you?
No, please tell me who he is.
Well, yesterday at Patriarch's Ponds, you met Satan.
He can't be. He doesn't exist.
Surely you of all people can't say that. Here you are shut up in a psychiatric clinic. And you still say he doesn't exist. As soon as you started to describe him, I guessed who it was you were talking with yesterday. He's unmistakable, my friend. You are, forgive me, but unless I'm wrong, you are a simple man?
Oh, I am indeed.
Oh, yes, well, even the face that you described, the different colored eyes, the eyebrows. Have you ever seen the opera Faust?
Oh, no.
No, of course not. Please don't feel bad. I'm surprised at Berlioz, though. He's not only extremely clever, but very well read. How very, very strange.
So, he really might have known Pontius Pilate then? He was alive then, I suppose? Huh. And they call me mad.
We must face the facts. Both you and I are mad. There's no point in denying it. He gave you a shock, and it sent you mad because you were temperamentally liable to react in that way. But what you have described did happen. The man who you were talking with yesterday was with Pontius Pilate. And now he's paid a call on Moscow.
But God knows what he may do. Shouldn't we try to catch him somehow?
Well, you've already tried, and look where it got you. How infuriating, though, that you met him and not I.
Why do you want to meet him so badly?
Well, it's most extraordinary. But I'm here for the very same reason that you are. I mean, because of Pontius Pilate. The fact is that a year ago I wrote a novel about Pilate.
You're a writer?
No. I am a master. She sewed this cap for me with her own hands.
Tell me about your novel.
Well, my life has been unusual. I am an historian and translator by training, and I worked in a library. About 2 years ago, I won 100,000 rubles in a lottery. Needless to say, I gave up my job and began to write this novel about Pilate. That was a golden time. I
I had rented a little apartment near the Arbot, and how deliciously the lilacs used to smell last spring when Pilate was finally coming to an end.
Ah, white cloak, red lining. How I know the feeling.
Precisely. Well, Pilate was rushing to a conclusion, and I already knew what the final words of the novel would be. Naturally, I used to go out for walks. She was carrying some of those repulsive yellow flowers. Yellow flowers, it's an ugly color. They stood out very sharply against her black dress. She turned off Tversky into a side street and turned round. You know Tversky, don't you? There must have been 1,000 people on it, but I swear to you, she saw no one but me. She had a look of suffering, and I was struck, less by her beauty than by the extraordinary loneliness in her eyes.
Do you like my flowers?
No.
Don't you like flowers at all?
No, I like flowers, only not these.
What kind of flowers do you like?
I love roses.
Go on, and please don't leave anything out.
Well, love leapt out at us like a murderer jumping out of a dark alley. It shocked us both, like the shock of a stroke of lightning, like the shock of a switchblade knife.
No, that's not so. We've been in love forever without knowing each other, without meeting. I've merely been married to another man and you to another woman.
Jeta ulica, jeta dom, jeta barishna stoya vlublon.
Вот эта улица, вот это дом, вот это барышня, что я влюблен.
She used to say to me,
I had gone out that day carrying those yellow flowers for you to find me at last. And if it hadn't happened, I would have committed suicide because my life was empty.
she called on me every day. I finally finished my novel, and she read and reread the manuscript. She sewed this cap for me and began to call me...
The Master.
Ah, that was a golden time. So, manuscript in hand, we emerged into the world. God, what a shock he gave me.
Who?
The editor, of course, the editor. He returned me my novel all greasy and dog-eared, but told me that it would never be published. But a few days later, I read an article about me in the newspaper.
He is a militant old believer.
And then another.
I suggest we strike, and strike hard at all this pilotism and religiosity he is trying to drag into print.
The articles did not stop.
This, if I may use the word loosely, writer, is poking around in the rubbish heap. He is suffering from a dog-like senility. He is a scavenger, picking over the scraps after a good dozen guests have thrown up.
I remember that. That was the critic Latunsky.
Latunsky, I am going to murder Latunsky.
God!
Though it was true, my novel never would be published. Autumn came, and the appalling failure of my novel seemed to have withered part of my soul. I no longer had anything to do, and I lived from my meetings with her. And then something happened to me. I was depressed. I had strange forebodings. I felt especially at night that some very cold and supple octopus was fastening its tentacles around my heart. I had to sleep with the light on.
I have to go. People are expecting me. Now, I'll be back tomorrow. Please, darling, don't be afraid.
She left. And I went to sleep. And when I awoke, I was an ill man. Wrestling with myself as one struggles with a lunatic, I made myself crawl to the stove and light it. I got my manuscript and began to burn it.
No! Ah, this is how one pays for lying, and I don't want to go on lying anymore. Now, I am going to go and tell my husband I am leaving him and come back to you forever. Now, don't be afraid. You're going to write it all again. Don't be afraid.
I'm afraid. Those were the last words I heard her say. I came here after she left.
Oh, my God. Why did I leave you last night? Why? I came back like I promised, but I have come too late. I have come too late, like poor Matthew the Levite.
But you could have let her know, couldn't you?
How could I? How could I write to her? She would be faced by a letter from the madhouse. And can one really write to anyone from an address like this? I only hope that she has forgotten me.
But someday, you may recover, huh?
No. Well, midnight approaches. It's time for me to go.
No, wait, please. Please. Tell me what happened afterwards to Pontius Pilate and that prisoner, Hanostri.
Well, your friend Professor Woland can tell it better than I can.
No. I need to hear it from you.
The execution. After Pontius Pilate, the Knight of the Golden Lance, had made his proclamation, the sun set on Mount Golgotha and 3 crucifixions ringed by soldiers. The enormous crowd that had gathered there that morning had slowly dispersed, exhausted by the heat and bored by the dull execution. Only one man still kept watch. Matthew.
The Levite.
Oh, I'm a fool. I'm a fool, a stupid fool, and I'm a coward. I'm a lump of carrion, not a man. Minutes pass while I, Matthew the Levite, sit here on Mount Golgotha. And still Yeshua HaNostri is not dead. God, why are you angry with Yeshua? Send death. Oh, why did I leave you alone? Why did I let you come to Jerusalem alone? I knew something terrible was going to happen, and now it's too late. I'm such a fool. If only I could have gotten near enough to stab you. Yeshua, I didn't want you to go through this torture. You've never done anyone the least harm in your life. If only I could have gotten you. Please, please, God, let Yeshua die. I curse you, God. God, you are unjust. I will believe in you no more.